When fan favorites win championships, smiles abound. Such was the case at the end of season 17, when the driver affectionately known as Bambi, Neil Bamber, was fitted for his F1 crown. In parallel, in a triumphant return to the series, Wojtek Podolczak won the F2 title. And who doesn't enjoy a dynasty as those two stupid dogs, David Burns and Vincent Bream, claim the team championship once again? But time has passed and smiles have flattened, because today the slate is wiped clean and the season starts anew. From the Suzuka International Racing Course, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's opening round coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle Season 18 Championship. And you can see all the simulated Skippy action, which includes iRacing's new damage marble, right here on GSRC. Konnichiwa, everyone, and welcome to yet another Formula Neagle season. Way up in the booth to bring you our words eye view. Adam Young, joined by yours truly, Phil Suits on. Sean Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Adam, I'm excited for yet another season and excited to have us back together to call it. We've seen a lot of Formula Neagle action together.
We have, man. It's been great. I've lost track of how many seasons that we've done. And being the first race of the year, picking a great venue like Suzuka, you brought up that this is the first time we've had the ABL since they introduced the Skip Barber damage model, and I am excited to see how this looks. I'm not going to be sure some of the guys that might be victims of that might not be excited about it, but still, although it's going to be a great race out there. We got a few new names that we're going to go over, and really looking forward to it. Of course, I brought up Suzuka. Suzuka, in my opinion, one of the best motorsports facilities in Japan. I mean, it's one of the first road courses that I really watched, but that was because, Cup Series in NASCAR did a few exhibition races back here in the mid-90s. It was always cool to watch, but we're running that full layout here for today, the 17-turn Grand Prix layout, full 3,609 miles, 5,808 kilometers around here today in a Skip Barber machine. Well, it's going to be interesting to say the least. Let's go ahead and take a lap around the place in the GSRC Skip Barber machine.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Suzuka. Coming down to turn 1, it's going to be tricky with the lift throttle oversteer, because 1 is more or less the entry to 2. Get the car slowed and stable to brake for this long banked right-hander. Even though it's at the end of a lengthy straight, this combo is going to make passing sketchy. As you exit, gently bring it back across the track to set up for the S's. Now, Amjad takes these series of back and forths without braking the whole way. Once again, using the characteristics of the car when off throttle, he's getting it to rotate around each bend. Keeping your rhythm is going to be very important to staying online. And if you get off of it, expect to be playing catch-up for the rest of the lap. And honestly, this is not a circuit where you want to overdrive the car. Now, as we come out of these and into Dunlop, it'll be flat out, so you'll mostly want to hold left around this long curve. Make sure to keep hugging the side of the road once it straightens, because now we're into Degner 1. Take a bit of curb, but make sure not to send the whole car over it. Then get left and onto the outside curb to slow it down for Degner 2. There's a lot of camber to help carry your speed, and you can just about straddle that rumble strip on the exit. From there, you'll stay left and then cut across at the kink to give yourself the widest entry into the hairpin. Keeping traction while also managing to rotate the rear of the car will help set you up perfectly, because it's a long time on the throttle after here. Even though it's curved, 12 is more like a straight in the Skippy. Drafting could come into play, but you won't want to defend to the right because the upcoming spoon curve actually turns left. This is another one that will challenge even the most experienced driver. The first apex is fairly quick, and then you've got to straighten the car along the curved curb on the outside. Brake and really get it to turn in for the slower second apex. Again, guys who can keep the car planted and steady will be in a much better position now that we're being dumped on the extensive backstretch. The exit is so much more important than the entry into spoon. Like most long courses in this lower powered Skippy, you're going to see draft battles start to erupt along this high speed uphill climb. But you won't want to be side by side at the end of it, because now we're approaching the fearsome 130R. You want to lift and just let it creep onto the curb, but not the AstroTurf. Put a wheel on that and she'll be sent spinning. Quickly get the car across the track and throw out the anchors for the Casio triangle. This is a great place to try to sneak a pass in if you're close to the car in front. However, if you're by yourself, hold nice and tight on the first part, then get the power on as soon as you dare for the second. From there, it's simply a matter of shortening the line around the final curve, making sure to hit your shifts correctly, and bringing it home across the line at Suzuka.
Always enjoyable to have Joe Peak talk and take us around a racetrack, a road course. This time it was Suzuka. All right, now this is the first race of the season, so we don't have any standings to show you, but we can review what happened last season. Let's go ahead and look at that. Neil Bamber, well, there you see him at the top. Now, he's not here today. He's going to use the quit while you're ahead, go out a winner type thing, as he's not here to defend his crown. That makes the odds-on favorite for the championship has got to be Greg Seitz, who hopes to bring the Formula Legal trophy to the USA for the first time ever. David Third Degree Burns won the championship in season 16. Sammy Toiklo's not here today, but he had a good run. He was tied for fourth, and Ari Sejas is here as he ended up in that fourth place tie for the championship. Let's go ahead and look at the F2 driver standings, and of course we talked about the Polish driver Poderchek winning that one. You can see the rest of the drivers down in there. Christian Goulet is here today. I haven't seen the Strudelmeister Thomas kick. Not sure if De Silva is here either. I know that Christopher Garros is in fifth position. Finally, you got to go to the team championship. I talked about it in the opening. They have been the dominant team for season after season. That is the team of two stupid dogs. That is manned by David Third Degree Burns and Vincent Bream. Now you can see that Neil Bamber almost won the team championship on the efforts all by himself, because he did that all by himself. He had no partners. He was a loner. The lap one experts and the other two teams that follow out the championship. We'll get more into the championship as the season goes on, learn what drivers have paired up to win that team crown. All right, Adam, let's talk about the event details.
Yeah, of course, here for today, first race of season 18. I honestly think I remember this series going back to at least season 8 or season 9. It could be even earlier than that. I don't know. Round 1, though, of only 5. So it's going to be a short season. Of course, the Absolute Beginners League does try to take the holidays off. So we'll try to get all 5 of these events in, I believe, before we get to the American Thanksgiving time frame. So, or maybe not long after that, maybe sometime between then and Christmas. But either way, 1 out of 5 events. We race every other week. Race distance here for today and the season, 40 minutes. So there's all of them are going to be 40 minutes. There's going to be no events that are going to be an hour or anything like that. And there's always going to be at least one stop in these races too. The setups are open, but with the reduced fuel to force that one stop. There is a 17 incident cap, and in a place like this, Soup, that really probably shouldn't play a role. And I'll tell you, with these this new damage model, if you get to 17 incidents and you still have wheels on your car, and we've never been able to say that in iRacing before, if you still have wheels on your car, then that's either some talent or some luck. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I come into this race as a commentator with mixed emotions. I don't want to wish misfortune on any driver, but Adam, I'll be honest with you, I'll be disappointed if we don't see somebody.
I'll tell you what my philosophy has always been on it, and as a driver, and it's if I'm going to wreck, I at least want it to look cool, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, so qualifying is going on right now. What's interesting about qualifying is it is an open qualifying. They encourage drivers to team up, and if you have a teammate, get yourself in a draft, see if you can get yourself in the tow, see if you can better your time a little bit. No surprise to see Greg Seitz at the top of the chart, about a 1/10 of a second faster than Lee Anderson.
Yeah, Lee Anderson is one of the names that really wasn't around a whole lot last year, but going to try to make some moves this year. Right now, sitting third on the chart, you'll find Christian Campagna. He's been a name that's been around for a while now. I think we can start calling him, stop calling him a new guy and start calling him a veteran. David Burns, of course. David, I'm gonna go out there right now. I think with a short season, David Burns, consistency. I really like his chances at the championship this year. This season. I'm going to throw that out there. I think I don't want to. There's a lot of new faces out there, but I'm going to make an early prediction that's going to come down between Seitz and Burns. We'll go. I'm going to go with that, and here in about 10 weeks, you can see if I'm right, Sue.
Yeah, I talked about it, only 5 races. We have the opener today. Next time it'll be round 2. After that, we're halfway point. Then the penultimate round, and then we're at the finale. Boom, 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 boom. Which means that every corner you can the chance of throwing away the championship. It's going to be hard to come back from a mistake, and that's where Burns notoriously consistent.
Yeah, he's good at staying out of trouble. Here's one of the new names out there, Delos Worley. So I'm not familiar with Delos, so it'll be good to see how the Californian does here, shaping up with everybody else. Didn't get a practice time in. Qualifying time, it's toward the bottom of the field, but we've seen a lot of guys come into this series start kind of in the bottom of the grids first couple of races, kind of get comfortable, and they start getting really racy. Here's a guy that's been around for forever and a day, and we love him. Frederick Neptune, he's going to be out there here to start this race at Suzuka, so hoping he has a pretty decent season out there. We'll see what he's able to do on this lap. Might as well stick with him as he heads down the front straightaway. And looking at his practice times and everything else, he actually should probably get up into the top 10 here. Didn't set a time. Here's David Burns, though. David, right now, sitting 3rd on the chart with a 224.830. That's going to move him up to 3rd. So from 4th to 3rd, we'll move David Burns.
Looking at Ludwig Sauer, a veteran of many GSRC broadcasts. I believe he is competing in the F2 championship again this season.
Yeah, how's he doing over there?
Should be competitive. Another F2 driver, Josh Brain. Josh comes across the line. Now here's the man who finished 4th in the championship last season, Ari Sejas.
And did not get a practice time in. So some of these are his first laps. Not where he wants to be, but we'll see if he's able to improve upon it here coming down the front straightaway. And it doesn't look like he was able to improve upon it too much. Here's Nico Roman, another guy that's been around for a while that we look forward to seeing run here today. He 226.824, so that's already a full 1.5 seconds faster than what he ran in practice.
He's in the tow right behind John Torpy. There's a newcomer, Nicholas Ingolstadt. And
Casper Tilsted now. I'm noticing a trend here, Soup. A few more Scandinavians out there than what we've seen in the past. So I think Frederick and Mikael Hoffade's have been going out there, maybe doing a little bit of recruiting in the Scandinavian club. So it'd be good to see those guys.
Nice size field here today of about, what do we got, about 38 drivers look like signed up.
It's smaller than some of the race
Indeed.
1 grids we've seen before. We maxed out the server before at 60 cars. So I think our director's breathing a sigh of relief over that part, but still have a really good field, I think, for this type of event. It might help some of the chaos in the first couple of corners. I really think here at a place like Suzuka, we're going to get through probably turn 1 and turn 2 just fine. It's going to be interesting to see if people get themselves straightened out before the S-curves, though.
And then they all pile down into the hairpin as well. You saw it on the lap guide. A great passing opportunity. Mikael Hoffade's finds himself up in 4th now. Now, this is a case, you talked about David Burns and his consistency. You want to flip the coin over to the other side. Here's a driver who's fast, but boy, I'm talking about Mikael Hoffade's. He just has trouble bringing it home sometime. Hopefully he can put that Achilles heel behind him, if that's mixing metaphors.
That's not very far off, and it's one of those things that if you have bad luck, eventually your luck's going to turn around. So hopefully that's the type of year for Ari Seahas here.
Another new driver, Michael Kellett. I think the big news, though, as new drivers is Lee Anderson. Sitting second. A name I'm not familiar with. A name I think is relatively new to the Absolute Beginner Series.
I mean, my memory could be mistaking me, but I want to say he ran a race or two last season. But with him being here the first race of the year on a 5-race season, I'm hoping he's running the schedule. I'm still not changing my mind, though. I'm still going to go with Burns and Seats here, possibly for going at it for the Drivers' Championship. But hey, Anderson could be the wild card.
You know what's fun is that we've been doing this for so long. It's fun to watch some drivers improve as their speed gets up. And two come to mind right now as I look at the standings. Thomas Kick and Christian Kabanka. We talked about them both being veterans. They're sitting 5th and 6th in the qualifying right now.
And we've seen enough events too that we know that in especially first race or two of the season, if you can get into the top 10 in qualifying on that first race, you have a really good shot at having a good finish. Just enough stuff happens, the race takes the shape that it does over the course of the 40 minutes. And I mean, you can qualify in 10th and find yourself on a podium very easily sometimes. So that's going to be nice to see. I always like how the twists and turns of these races go. It's what keeps coming to me. It keeps me coming back as a commentator for these guys, and also for the fact that, the couple of races I've been able to run with them. Absolute Beginners League is a great league. If you're looking for a Skip Barber open wheel league to run, this is a great league. And you get a hold of guys like Hocek Podchek there, and they'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, I've said it before. Don't be confused by the title of Absolute Beginners. So they encourage newcomers, and they're very friendly to newcomers as well. But there's some top quality here. You talked about qualifying. If the farther up you qualify, the better the chances of something bad will happen behind you. I don't need to put on my Captain Obvious cap, but that's pretty clear about that. Things are pretty much settled down here, and since the Absolute Beginner League has standing starts, and I want to make sure that Adam and I both get our GSRC commentator bonus for getting through the entire field before they go green. Let's go to the grid light now. I'm pretty sure that this is how it's going to play out. Greg Seitz and Lee Anderson is your first row. The veteran David Burns and Michael Hofladason are going to be in row 2. The Strudelmakers, Thomas Kick is inside of Christian Kabanka, with Frank Peters and Peter Houston filling up row 4. John Torpy and Sandre Engine go 9 and 10. Adam?
Yeah, going over to row 6, spot 11. Now you find Josh Rain. Nick Hardy will start alongside him. Ludwig Sauer, Matt Tempest, Hocek Podchek in 15th position. Elise Fotik, the 16th position, Nico Roman, and Ari Seahas in row 9, Michael Alette and Delos Worley in row 10.
And Blackjack is Christopher Garros with Nicola Ingleson behind him, the double duck spot. Casper Stillstead and Lee Woodburn fill up the next row. 25th position is Don Rathburn with Brady Hulse in 26th. Andy Pitoon and Peter Reed go 27th and 28th. And that next row is Dennis Rust. And hey, look at this. Neil Armstrong with us.
And going back now to row 16, John Spears, Rodrigo Capoletto, row 17, Rickard De Silva, Frederick Neptune, Frederick Haskins, and Patrick O'Leary will make up row 18. Christopher Crook and Troy Banks in row 19. Scott Angelo starting shotgun on the field.
I can't wait to see a Neil Armstrong and battling Neptune. This seems appropriate to have that happen. All right, we got it done. Welcome to the Absolute Beginner League Formula Neagle Season 18 season opener here at the Origami Pretzel, better known as Suzuka. The drivers are out there. We're waiting for the driver in fourth to take a spot. Mikael Hofladeson, usually late to the party. He is there now. You can hear the little Skippy's engines begin to rev up. Gather at the chicken steak, covering on the cows. The horses are out of the barn. Seitz gets right in front of Anderson, protecting that position for the lead. Anderson with a run, though. Burns in third. Hofladeson. Kick is going to be in a challenge for fifth position. They're side by side with Kabanka. Getting loose up in front is Burns, as he's now fallen back to fourth position as the white car of Hofladeson moving up into third.
Only see one incident back there. Other than that, everybody's making it to the S-curves here. Some still going double file through the S-curves. That's always dangerous in the middle part of the field. But our front runners, they are nose to tail, single file. Only one really trying to make a move here is Mikael Hofladeson. He's trying to sneak a peek around Lee Anderson. Doesn't see anything there. He's going to let off the gas, but in the process of that slows up David Burns just a touch.
We talked about Hofladeson, always aggressive, always fast, but has to get it to the end. Great racing up front. Seitz not able to pull away. Anderson right on his tail. Hofladeson and Burns is there as well. It is a 6-car train up in the front, and we got our first damage as Kabanka gets into the back of Thomas Kick. Kabanka has lost his nose. That allows Frank Peters now to get in there as the train gets a little bit wider, and a spin up in front, getting very loose, was kicked right in front of Kabanka. The Strudelmeister keeps it straight, but he's losing positions. First to Kabanka and now to Peters.
Through the back part of the field, we ended up with about 10 cars out of this thing in separate incidents. Josh Brain, Ari Seahas among those.
Ari Seahas, who had such a great season last time. See them going across. The aggressive driver, as you watch that lead train, is Frank Peters, as he's looking to get around Thomas Kick. Kick seems to be off the pace. Peters was right on the back of the lead train, but that has broken up, and we got a pass for the lead now. Hofladeson up into the front, gets around Seitz. Seitz is fighting back. They're going to be side by side as they go down into the Casio Triangle. They get that sorted out. Hofladeson slides that Skippy through the triangle. He loses all of his momentum. Seitz is all over the back of him. Seitz with a run, watching the whole thing in the popcorn position is the rookie, Lee Anderson. Hofladeson gets credit with leading the first lap, but here comes Seitz. They're going to be side by side down into one. Anderson watching on. Hofladeson under braking, takes it in deeper than Confucius in a submarine. Seitz goes really wide. Too hot for Hofladeson. He's off into the beach. He gathers it up, and he's losing position after position, falling back now to what I think will be sixth position as Kabanka takes a shot at him. Kabanka can't get him. Hofladeson slots into fourth. Holy smokes, right on board with Christian Kabanka now in fifth. That's put Lee Anderson up in the lead after all that is said and done. Anderson, Seitz, Burns. Hofladeson under attack from Kabanka is loose. Kabanka loops it around right in front of Kick. Kick avoids it. Look at Christian. Car got righties. He brings the car right in behind Hofladeson. Kabanka brings it back out. Did not hit anything. Lost many, many positions. Anderson, Seitz, and Burns, your front three. Going to go a little farther back. Neil Armstrong in a battle with Lee Woodburn. Scott Angelo looking on. We talked about Armstrong maybe being in a battle with Neptune. Neptune's in the hunt. He's in 16th back there with Rathburn looking on. A nice little battle farther back. Here comes the attack from Woodburn. Look at the hole that the two cars push. The number 68 trying to put the toothpaste back in the jar. We've seen this many times here in the Skippies. Scott Angelo gets them both. And Frederick Neptune follows them through.
We are going to be seeing that all race long. Big draft and track like here with the small little car, numerous opportunities to make moves like that. I just want to see a return, Soup, to what we saw seasons ago with kind of the popcorn spot, the middle spot being the one that gets the big run.
There's been a swap up front. Seitz now in front of Anderson with Burns watching on. All those three drivers up there equally paced. I don't think any of them are going to be able to drive away from the other. The question is, can Michael Hofladeson, who's now 1.2 seconds behind Burns, gather his composure and get that machine back up, making a four-car battle?
Yeah, he's far enough back where it's going to be really tough for him to grab the draft there of David Burns. But likewise, Thomas Kick isn't close enough to really get draft off him. So Mikhail Hofladeson's kind of sitting out there by his lonesome right now. He's going to have to string together a couple good corners here through the technical portion to try to get up to that front pack.
We saw Rathburn in that battle. He's had a problem, though. Doesn't hit anything. Loops the car around right in front. Everybody does a good job of avoiding him. We talked about the racing up front. Let's go to sixth position real quick and talk about the back half of your top 10. Peter Houston in a battle with John Torpy. Newcomer Sondre Engine in this mix. It's a four-car battle that includes Nick Carty. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. These guys about 5.5 seconds behind the leaders. Up front, it is Seitz. Trying to hang on. He's lost the position. Anderson back out in front. Adam, we've done enough of this to know that maybe the guy who's the smartest of all might be David Burns back there in third. He's just not racing hard. Anderson's sights are swapping positions.
Multiple reasons. First and foremost, it's kind of helping limit the potential that he gets in this trouble. And he's also saving gas, which he may not be able to save a lap to the point you can come in on a different lap than these guys, but these Skip Barber machines don't exactly put gas in them at a record pace. So if you save a little bit, that's going to be a shorter stop you're going to have to take coming out of the pit stops. And we've seen enough where it's enough to leapfrog people.
All right, let's go back to that second battle we were looking at. Torpy now is out in front of that. This is Engine and Houston now. Remember, Houston was leading this train. He's back in 8th. Carty is the caboose, and that's where he continues to stay. Watch it on. Good racing going on here. Four-car battle for 6th. Between that battle that we've been looking at and the one up front is Hofladeson and Kick. Hofladeson not able to make up any time at all, as he's now about almost 3 seconds back from the front three.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I mean, he might also be falling back intentionally to try to get back there with Thomas Kick to try to work together. So that's one thing to think about there.
I want to go to 12th position real quick just to give a little love to Rodrigo Capoletto. Now, he didn't put in a qualifying time, so in Soup's book, he does not qualify as the hard charger. But he started in 32nd, racing in 12th, all by himself. He's got about 8 seconds to get up to the next driver. Maybe we should go up and look at that driver, Director. Let's go up and look at, I guess it would be Matt Tempest in 11th in a battle with Kabanka. Now, the third car in line, that's Frank Peters. He's is he on the lead? He's a lap down, I believe. So you see Kabanka in 10th and Tempest in 11th. Kabanka, remember, qualified up front, had that issue. He's trying to make up time after his spin. Tempest up 4 spots. Let's go for the lead. Swinging by, his sights going around Anderson. Back there with butter on his fingers. Oh, I thought getting loose was Anderson, but that's okay. Is Burns. They race now 3 seconds ahead of Hofladeson.
It's one thing, if you have not driven the Skip Barber machine in a while, of course, it's one of the main rookie machines, so you probably have at some point, but if you haven't driven it in a while, the tire model on these now is a lot the way it used to be, going back, 7 to 8 years ago, and it really puts it back in the driver's hands. You're sliding around all over the place, but it also has a tendency to start sliding too much. We've seen that happen a couple times now in turn 1.
Yeah, really, as a commentator, it really does take your breath away because the guys who are fast know how to get the car. Oh, boy, it looks like they're going to lose it every time, but they're just comfortable with it.
Right on the ragged edge, and it works for them.
Totally different look if you were looking at an open wheel race, let's say in a Dallara or a Formula car.
Yeah, we always think that the wings on these things are just cosmetic pieces.
Yes. Let's scroll back a little bit to 17th. We'll talk about Troy Banks. Not much of a battle. Casper Tilstead in this one as well. Banks up 20 positions. Again, didn't put in a qualified time, so that one really doesn't count. Tilstead up 5. Scrolling through, we got 24 cars still on the lead lap.
And
go ahead.
And Haskins has been out there. He's really been doing his best to try to hang on to things here. He was able to avoid a lot of the initial race incidents without taking any kind of damage, but at the same time, of course, it's slowed down, and now he's at the part where he's the last car in the lead lap. Now, he still has like about a minute and 10 seconds to fall back before he's in the clutches of the leaders.
And let's go ahead and talk about those leaders. Who is it right now? Well, it's Seitz, Anderson, and Burns. We don't need to be ho-hum about the lead changes, but honestly, these guys are doing as much dancing as they are racing right now. There's a pit stop before them. They know they're not going to run away from the other one. And again, Adam and I have done a lot of these to know that I really think Burns is back there. Like he said, he's not going to save a lap, but what do? He'll save a second or two when it's putting fuel in, because he's just back there saving fuel.
Yeah, exactly what he's doing. I mean, you can even hear him not going full throttle. He's more reacting to just kind of keep pace of where he's at. He's not making any aggressive moves. And in the process of all that, I mean, he's just running laps. We were already down to being almost 14 minutes into this race, in a 40-minute race, and it didn't feel like time flew at all. So he's just biding his time.
So the front two continue to swap. Burns continues to watch on. Hofladeson and Kick are back there a little farther back. Now we'll go back to 8th position. This is fun. This is Carty. Looking at Houston. Carty wants this spot back. He just lost it. This was a 4-car train that involved Engine and Torpy. Those guys raced for 6. They pulled away. And we got some. This is going to be tight. This is Kabonka now getting in the mix. Remember him? He's got Carty. He goes to the right of Carty and now to the left of Houston. He brings Carty along with him. And Peter says, what the heck happened? I just lost 2 spots. This could be good news for Carty and Houston. If they could stay on the back of Kabonka, he's going somewhere. Right now, he's going off track.
Which, I mean, if you're going to pick a spot on the track to go off track. That's not the worst one, although you want that good run down the front straightaway. But yeah, I wasn't expecting Kamanka to be falling this far back here initially, but I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing out of Torpy, Carty, and Engine. I'm really liking some of these new faces that we're seeing coming out here and running in the top 10.
Director, let's jump up to 6 to the guys they're trying to chase. This is Sandre Engine and John Torpy. Now, all you little soldiers in Soup's clipboard army, mark down this number, 2.4. That is the distance from Torpy back to Kabanka. Kabanka is coming. He should be able to get there pretty quick. And he might be able to bring along with him, if he could, Carty and Houston will end up with a 5-car battle for 6th. There you see the guys racing for 6th. Engine and Torpy, or Engine and Torpy, I can correct myself, that's correct. Torpy right now. You can see on the tower to your left there that Anderson is out in front right now. Again, don't mean to be cavalier about it.
It'd be fun here to watch the speed difference. If we can put that back up and just kind of watch the speed difference of these guys as they're going down the straightaway, watching who's in the lead and who's in the draft. And right there, you can see at times it's almost a good 2-3 mile an hour difference, which, you know, doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough to make a pass, and sometimes even a double pass going down some of the longer straightaways.
Boy, I love that camera shot. That really does show you, even though these cars aren't the fastest on the surface, it gives you a little idea of how fast they're going. Beautiful Japanese sky pushing down on the racetrack. We got our first stop, and it's a big one. Lee Anderson has made a stop. Now, what this does is Anderson comes in. What this does now to Burns, Anderson was racing in second. Burns has got to work really hard to stay on the back of Seitz. And as they do that, they work their way around Andy Platoon, who gets out of the way of the lap car, and sure enough, Burns is right there. Not sure about this strategy, because if Seitz and Burns can stay out there, and now you may not see Burns follow Seitz anymore. They may start to dance, because two cars that leapfrog each other will be faster, and Burns knows that.
Yeah, I mean, Burns has got so much experience in these cars. He knows exactly how to get around in the fast way in the draft. So it would be interesting to see him work here with Seitz. Seitz himself has quite a bit of experience. So
yeah.
I have to wonder. I mean, unless it's going back to, you know, some of the old early PL8 reveal kind of stuff that we've seen, I just don't know who's going to be Anderson's dancing partner here.
Drops us all the way back to a name we haven't said in a while, but it was the Roland Estonian Errol Num, multi-time champion in the Formula Neagle, who would consistently do this. Basically, Num would think, I'm faster than these guys. I just want to get out and run by myself. I'm not sure if Anderson is going to be faster than Burns and Seitz together. We'll see. Now, we talked about, remember, Houston and Carty were trying to stay on the back of Kabanka. Well, that hasn't happened. Christian driving away. Soldiers, look at your clipboard. I told you 2.4 was the interval between Torpy and Kabanka. Well, now it's 1.4. Kabanka is coming, and Houston and Carty were not able to stay on his tail. Anderson cycles out in 12th position. And Director, let's go to 11th right now. This is Frederick Neptune. Here is Lee Anderson. This is another problem that Anderson has doing what he did, Adam, is he's got to deal with the traffic.
Yeah. So I really wonder how well it's going to work out for him here. Maybe it will. I mean, we could be wrong, but at the same time, I mean, every time you got to pass somebody, it's going to slow down. And probably putting wheels off the grass right there not going to help you out that much either.
Burns is in. Burns has decided that he can do this.
Oh, it sounds like I believe he was running in 5th position there behind Mikhail Hoffadezen. Thomas Kick has lost connection and is out of this thing.
All right, now here comes Anderson coming down the front straight. Burns is pulling out onto the track. Burns is about, oh my goodness, 5 seconds now. It's going to close up a bit until he gets that little skippy running. 4.3 seconds ahead of Anderson. Look what happened in just the 1 or 2 laps. I think it was only 1 lap that Burns stayed out.
Now the question becomes, when does Seitz come down pit road?
Take a quick look here at pit stop times if I can. Get a comparison. There you have it. Well, that explains a lot, doesn't it?
It just might be a little bit maybe of inexperience or something like that in these cars. Maybe he put too much fuel in, didn't have his settings completely right, but you can see the difference it'll make there.
Right.
Ooh, a close call by Burns.
Michael Ellett lost it right in front of Burns. Going through the second Degner there. Woo. Boy, that's a hard corner for me. I don't know if it gets, maybe it might just be, but that corner.
GT cars, especially for me, I like to lose the back end there, slam them into the wall. Maybe a new candidate for the next damage model update just to see me explode.
One of the few places where it's not a lot of room for error. Great battle going on here with Torpy, Engine, and Kabonka. I told you about Kabonka. He's coming. Blinken is a little bit of Torpy, but I don't think that's going to match Kabonka.
Imagine these guys maybe starting to think about coming down pit road here.
Seitz is going to go around again. He's not coming in.
Oh, I think if you're Seitz and the position and all that, I think you're kind of stuck having to run it till it's dry at this point. You got to do something different than everybody else did.
As we look at this battle on screen, and it is a good one, I'll just report that Anderson is be able to close on Burns a bit. Anderson might have the pace on third degree. 3.2 seconds. Let's stay on the one we're watching, though. This is Kabonka. Coming up on Torpy. He's got a run on him. Of course, pit stops for all these guys still ahead.
Watching Kabonka and now riding on board with him and watching Torpy's line here. I mean, he's taking an aggressive line. He's doing his best, I think, right now to keep Christian behind him. Just got to be careful that doesn't come back to bite you at some point with moving around the way he is. Christian's disciplined enough. I think he's staying out of him here for this most part. But you keep moving around like that, eventually in the Skip Barber machine, you're going to make a mistake.
Boy, you can tell that you called it, Adam. You can see the difference in the racing line. Kabonka's is so smooth and Torpy's is, I guess he's trying to make the car wide, but man, it's really
he's driving right there. He just went wide. He went in there too hot. Now Christian's alongside of him. It's just he was just driving too much in his mirrors and not enough looking in front of him.
Sorry, the engine back there looking. Those two cars are punching a big hole. Watch out for that car to get up there.
If I'm Christian, Christian's disciplined enough now, like I was saying, I'm almost just waiting for pit stops to happen. Try to get him on pit road, because if he's going to squeeze you like that, don't take a chance of ruining your race when you have a pretty decent shot at maybe making an outside run at the championship here this season.
Here he comes.
He's going to try to take him on the outside here, going through a
130R. This is going to be close. He's gets the power down. He's got it cleared. Now can he drive deep enough down into the Casio triangle to finish the deal? They got a lapped car of Andy Patoon up in front of him. Wow, taking in a really hot as Kabonka. He goes deep in. He goes deep into that side as well. He's out of there cleanly. It might be pit stop time for all of them. Includes Houston.
Ooh, that was very, very close. I know we want to go to Seitz, but that pit entry, that was almost bad between Campagna and Torpy. Torpy went in way hot. We'll have to see if he gets a speeding penalty, but Christian had to take evasive action coming into the slowdown.
While we're looking at this replay, Seitz has made his stop and he's out on track. He's going to come out in front of Burns. We come back live. Seitz with a tick under 3-second lead on Burns. Burns is losing time to Anderson. Anderson is closing on him. Maybe if Anderson gets to Burns, they can leapfrog their way back up to Seitz. But right now, with just a tick under 15 minutes of racing to go, it's going to be a tall order for those.
So in that pit stop, the pit stops that just happened, the big winner out of all that was somebody I really wasn't expecting. Peter Houston is now out in front of that pack, leapfrogs them all. So you got to hope that he took enough fuel to make the rest of the way. Christian's already looking to try to get around him here.
Kabonka, he's got Torpy, he's got engine, he's got one more guy to go, and he'll be up into 4th position. Hoffman-Dason has made a stop. Everybody has made their stop except for Casper Kilstead in the top 20. To stay on this battle, though, this is a fun one. Kabonka qualified 6th. He was racing at the back of the lead train, as you can see. They go into there it is. The second taker gets him. Peter Houston. We talked about it.
It just goes just a touch wide, and that left rear tire just barely grabs the tire wall there, and doesn't see it. Seems like he's driving straight for the most part, but I can't think that he didn't get out of that with some sort of suspension damage with the way he grabbed that.
There is just, probably the one area on the track where there just is no room for error. As he comes back, you see he's down into 9th. Let's jump quickly up to 5th position, because here comes John Torpy side by side with Kabonka. These guys continue to be the show of the race. Christian fends them off. Going a little bit wide is Torpy. Sandre Engine back there watching in 7th. Torpy takes some creative racing lines. Does not get a good exit out of the triangle, and now here comes Engine. That's
just yeah. Back there, you got Sandra Engine. I think he's just hanging back in the old popcorn spot right there. And I think that's the safest place for him with as aggressive as those guys are being. Just leave enough room to evade an accident should one happen.
So you can look at the tower on the screen left there. You can see the intervals. Seitz about 3 seconds ahead of Burns, comfortable. The interesting battle is Anderson continues to close on Burns. I don't know if they're going to have enough time for Anderson to get to Burns and run up to Seitz, but we could have a battle for second. Hoffman-Dason is in no man's land, 10 seconds behind Anderson, 14 seconds up on Torpy. And then the one you see coming at you. This is a fun battle. Kabonka trying to make up for an earlier mistake. Not Torpy. Tough to race with. And as we ride on board with Kabonka looking back, you can see Engine, and then back in the mix also is Nick Carty. We've been following his progress.
Just to update on the leaders here, Seitz came out solidly in the lead of, of those that triple pack there for a while. In fact, he's opened up a 3-second lead now on David Burns. But one thing I'm noticing is that Burns is really losing a lot of ground now to Lee Anderson. I think Lee Anderson might be up to Burns here in the next few laps.
Now, this is Capoletto that just got around Houston. Remember, Houston put the car in the wall, so I'm not sure how healthy that number 4 machine is right now. That was a car that went into the wall at the second deck there. But look in the toe. Houston races up there, but there's the pass.
I think we should give the luckiest driver of the race award right now to old Houston right there. I mean, that how that car's still driving straight, I do not know.
He pancaked it. He hit it perfectly. All he did was skinny up the car a bit. Yeah, probably the most important battle to watch is the one with Burns and Anderson. Anderson not there yet. The most exciting one, though, is Torpy and Kabanka. Let's drop back and look at Neil Armstrong. He's ahead of that's Haskins right now and fighting him. Haskins looking to the inside. Going a little wide. There is Armstrong. Oh, they touch. Oh. The Eagle has landed in the back of Haskins. Boom.
You know, the other part about this is this all happened really only about a corner in front of our leaders. In fact, Seitz got to that stranded car before he had a chance to back out. So it's kind of danger zone right now with Seitz getting closer to lap traffic.
Let's go to Seitz, because this is how a race can be lost here. He's coming up on a battle for 18th position. This is Armstrong and Ingvalston. Oh my goodness, this is a tough place for Seitz to be. He's going to get them both. Putting 16 cars on the lead lap. And the race of the best race of the race here. Kabanka engine here. McCarty is watching on from the last spot. That's Torpy in second. Oh,
ooh, Carty's coming in.
Yeah. That'll be a second stop. No, let me correct myself. That's his first stop I'm looking at. Nope.
Wow.
Nope, second stop.
I was pretty sure I saw him come in earlier.
Yeah. Torpy gets passed by Engine.
Oh! Engine
loose.
almost came all the way around there.
Torpy gets it back. What that does allow, though, is for finally Christian Kabanka to have a little bit of breathing space as his gap opens up to almost a second now behind Torpy. A little driver work here on this one. Full on board with this one. Nice. Cranked it left and then uncranked it.
Now, with this battle, I know Capena is just going to do his best to try to run away from Torpy now. Torpy, though, he needs to calm down and not see red.
Got to go up to second position. We saw him coming. Here comes Lee Anderson. Burns has been doing his best to stay out in front. Now the car in front, that's Nicholas Invested. That's a lap down. That's not going to be for position. Ingvelson gets out of the way. Now we watch from Anderson's point of view as he rides up behind the season 16 champion, David Burns. There's some 4+ seconds behind the leader. With just a tick over 5 minutes of racing to go, no way to catch them unless Seitz makes a mistake. But with only a 5-race season, every point is important, and Anderson would love to pick up the extra points for second.
Once again, you can see a difference in lines in that 1-2 complex there, but at the same time, much smoother than some of those other guys. I mean, it's maybe different lines, but they're not being aggressive about those other lines.
I can just tell you there are 16 cars on the lead lap. Peter Reed, the last one, he's in no jeopardy of going a lap down. This is the battle that we're going to focus on here. Both these drivers have championship potential. Burns has the experience. Anderson, relatively new with just a few races under his belt. A car length behind third degree. Clear track in front of them. We get to 4 minutes to go. All right, Adam. These cars are equally paced. I don't really know if it makes a difference if Anderson gets around Burns. I don't think Anderson's going to be able to run away from him, even though he clearly has the pace over Burns. But in these skippies is all about where you are behind somebody, I guess. Coming out of Spoon, you want to be in second if you're in a 2-car battle.
Yeah, you know, I'd take that. And really right now would be the time for maybe Anderson try to test the waters a little bit, planning for a future move. Other than that, I would stay there. I mean, he did run him down from a couple seconds back, but at the same time, the draft's a great equalizer. So you don't want to give David Burns enough time to make another pass attempt around you if you're able to get around him.
Nobody has more experience in this series than David Burns. Let's see if now, right here, this is where Anderson, I think, if he wanted to force the issue, he could. And I think he's listening to my co-commentator here as he's decided that there's no reason to make the move yet. Let's go back to this battle for fifth. Now the car up in front, that's Torpy. I really thought that Kabaka would run away from Torpy. Torpy was able to gobble him back up, so these 3 cars continue the battle. Engine back there with a huge hole being punched in the air for him if he wants it. Side by side in front. Torpy on the inside. Kabaka is going to have to back out, see if he can do a little hokey doke as they work through one. Boy, this is a tough place to make a pass now. Won't be long till they get up on the back of Neil Armstrong. The race is in 19th. It'll be the first lap car. Oplivason just got around him. Burns and Anderson continue to race in that order. Sight's 5 seconds ahead of anybody. It's his race to lose. The most exciting battle continues to be this Torpy, Kabaka, and engine battle. The most important one, Burns and Anderson.
And if you think about it, that one there could be important too, depending on how the season plays out. A couple of good runs by Torpy or Capanga, or even Engine for that matter, could put them in contention for, you know, a possible slot in the championship fight. So first race of the season in a 5-race season, said it multiple times, every point counts, and don't think that these guys aren't thinking about that.
While we watch this battle, our leader is through the Casio Triangle. He'll be getting the white flag.
Lee Anderson has really backed off the gas. He had a long pit stop. I'm hoping he has even still got enough fuel.
Should not be a fuel issue, but yes, what I thought was going to be a battle. Anderson doesn't seem to have the paces. Burns is clearly pulled away.
He was halfway off the gas going through 170R there. I mean, that's something's up.
With Anderson, And with Anderson now off the pace, we can focus our attention back to the exciting battle with Torpy and Kapanka and Engine. They pass pit entrance. There will be no second pit stop for any of these guys as they're on their last lap. Look at the defensive line from Torpy. If you're going to pass me, you're going to have to do it on the outside. Kapanka says, okay. The track's not wide enough for Engine to get there. Look at the defensive line, and it works as Torpy was able to defend again. Now a little bit of a hokey-doke, a little dipsy-do, a little up and under. Torpy very close to making contact with Kapanka, but they get it sorted out. Our leader is down into the hairpin. It's all his. Burns comfortably in second. Anderson has 18 seconds on Hofladays, and unless Anderson runs out of fuel, he'll get that final podium spot. This is where the action is. Torpy making that car as wide as a Julia Roberts smile right now. Kapanka right behind him. I think Kapanka is waiting till they get to out of Spoon. They've got the lap car of Neil Anderson. Seitz is out of Spoon, heading to 130R. We can stay on this battle a little while longer. They negotiate their way around Anderson. These guys are far enough back that we'll be able to cover the lead across the line and watch this battle as well.
Let's get ready to say what Kapanka wants is Engine to get involved in this and maybe slow Torpy up.
Seitz is into the Casio triangle. Negotiates the right, the left, the right. Nothing but the checker flag in front of him. Give the U.S. driver the opening round win of the Formula Eagle Season 18 Championship. Burns and Anderson will be safely in second and third. Hofladays will be safe in fourth. Let's go back to this battle. That's Kapanka.
Engine
with the run on the outside, he gets them both. Torpy is back in fifth. Adam Kapanka fighting back. They're going to be side by side into the final chicane. Kapanka gets there first. There's enough time to make a run. They make contact in the chicane. No, they don't. There's enough time to make a run if Engine can get it going, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. He's scooting forward. Nope. Give fifth place to Kapanka. Engine gets sixth. Torpy will have to settle for seventh. As we look at this, we're looking at, it's Neptune. This would be for what would be eighth, I guess. This is Neptune ahead of Rathburn. I think our timing and scoring might be a little bit off. I believe this is a battle for 13th. Watch Rathburn. Rathburn races in around 11th or 12th here somewhere. Now here comes Neptune. Neptune defending. Rathburn, they touch. Rathburn's not going to be able to get there. Neptune's going to come through the chicane safely and we'll be able to give you the official finishing position as they come across. Frederick Neptune, who started the race in 34th position, will get credit for finishing in 12th. Rathburn comes across in 13th. 16 cars on the lead lap. Indeed, Peter Reed, the last car to finish on the lead lap in 16th. The racing is over. Our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break. We'll come down and finish read down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, or we put a lock on the gate here at Suzuka. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC. From the Suzuka International Racing Course, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's opening round coverage of the Absolute Beginner Elite Sport and the Neagle Season 18 Championship. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now. It was a battle early on between Seitz, David Burns, and Lee Anderson. When the dust settled, it was Greg Seitz, the American, with the comfortable win by 7.5 seconds over David third degree Burns. Lee Anderson, we assume, might have been short of fuel there as he had nothing for Burns at the end. He was able to limp it home in third, ahead of Michael Hofladezen, who was racing up front early, ran into trouble, and then was basically a man on an island for the entire two-thirds of the last two-thirds of the racing. The stars of the show, Christian Kabaka, Sandra Ingen, John Torpy, they come home 5th, 6th, and 7th when it was all sorted out. Give them another lap, and that would have been inverted. Rodrigo Capoletto with a very quiet 8th place. We saw Peter Houston have trouble putting it in the wall, and the second decker, he's able to salvage 9th. And the last car on the top 10, even with the second pit stop, was Nick Carden. Adam?
Hey, not wrong about Capoletto. I don't think we talked about him once sneaking in there in 8th place. Another guy that had a pretty quiet day, Scott Angelo, coming home in 11th. Frederick Neptune in 12th. Don Rathburn, we saw the contact right there, right at the end of the race. 13th position, 14th goes to Casper Tilstead. Peter Reed, 15th. Lee Woodburn coming home in 16th. 17th is Nicholas Ingveldsson. Neil Armstrong in 18th. Frank Peters, 19th. And 20th goes to Frederick Haskins.
In blackjack, it's Andy Tutum and Christopher Garros, a veteran in the double duck spot. Christopher Cook in the 23rd spot. Troy Banks in 24th. All these guys finishing well down the order. They had problems. Josh Brain, Matt Tempest, John Spear in 27th. 28th, 29th, and 30th was the Strudelmeister, Thomas Kick, Michael Ellett, and Bradley Hulse, I apologize. Adam?
Yeah, good job by Thomas Kick getting back in there and getting what spots he can. Hocek Potacek coming in toward the tail of the field, and everybody else there having problems as we headed toward the end of the race.
And you can see the rest of the order. With that done, let's go ahead and talk to our winner here today, the American driver, Greg Seitz, who was very impressive last season at the end. Made a late start for season 17, so really didn't have a chance at the championship, but he's going to start from the very beginning here for season 18, and he picks up with a win. Greg, congratulations. After the pit stops, things settled down a little bit for you.
Yeah, I think it went pretty well overall. I was on the first lap, or the start of the second lap, Michael came up on the inside there, and I tried to give him as much room as I could and kind of ran off the track there, but so I was a little worried there. But yeah, after that, things went pretty smoothly, except I think when we, after the pit stop, came up on lap traffic, and that had me a little nervous as well, but we made it through okay.
All right, let's take Hofladezen out of the mix because he was clearly racing early. Let's talk about you and Anderson, who are basically just swapping the lead. Were you racing or dancing the first part of the race?
Yeah, we were just basically working together to get away. Honestly, I wanted to kind of put as much distance between us and Michael as I could. so we worked together really well, I think, to accomplish that.
Now, sitting back there watching the whole thing, we like to call it from the popcorn position, was David Burns. We thought he might have the advantage when it came to pit stops. Pit stops were interesting. Anderson pulled off. You ran really long.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I mean, I wasn't necessarily surprised that Lee went in early. Nothing wrong with that, but I was surprised that David didn't just kind of stay with me until I pitted, because he would have had my draft the rest of the race, and he might have even come out ahead of me because he was saving fuel back there. So yeah, I was a little surprised that he went in a couple laps earlier than me. So I just tried to take advantage of it and push as hard as I could.
Well, congratulations on the win. You pick up a few points. The scoring system is pretty tight, so even though you get the win, it's not like you put a ton of distance between you and the other guys. So with only a 5-race season, every corner is going to count. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks. Had a great time.
Greg Seitz, your winner today, and your points leader going into round 2. Adam, who you got?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk to David Burns here. Hey, David, didn't exactly work out for you the way you wanted to on the pit stop strategy there, but still, second place, first race of the season. Not too much to shy away from, especially since it was a relatively good race for you.
I don't know what you're talking about, Adam. It worked out perfectly. I wasn't third. Yay! It was a great race. It was. It was a little more calculating rather than actual fighting, because I could see Greg and Lee were a little bit faster than me, so I thought there's no point in fighting. If I just hold the draft, I might beat someone in the pits, and I did.
Well, ultimately ended up working out there. I got to say, with today being Suzuka here and everything, what'd you think of having to fight there, especially in the first half of the race on a track like Suzuka where you're sliding around all over the place?
Yeah, it's a little tricky with that track temperature, and with the Skippy's new tire model, those cold tires are a bit lethal. You've got to be really careful in first couple of laps, and I think Michael Haflidason kind of almost killed himself trying a bit too hard. But yeah, Suzuka's a really tricky track, no matter what car you're in. But in this car, it's a balancing act.
All right, so I'm going to be fully upfront and honest with you. I picked you and Seitz to be running for the championship this season. What do you think of your odds?
Can I put my money on Greg? I'll try my best, but Greg is. To be honest, he was actually. I thought he'd be faster today, but I think it was the track temperature might have been holding him back, because he normally would be a lot quicker than me or Lee.
All right. Well, hey, David, always good talking with you, sir, and we'll see you here in 2 weeks.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for that.
David Burns, your second place finisher. And now we're going to talk to the man who had probably the most exciting early part of the race, Miguel Haflidason. Oh my goodness, what a start, Miguel. You were on a roll. You were looking to go from fourth to first on the first lap.
I succeeded. I thought I was going to pull away, and then I made a silly mistake into turn one.
Yeah, it was really a quite a different story. Your first early on was really exciting, and then after your mistake, you sorted yourself out in like fourth or fifth, and then the last part of the race was just putting in the mile.
Yeah, I mean, I missed a lot of the last season, so I wanted to bring a show to you guys. So it was all an act, I promise.
It was indeed. How did the car feel? And wait a minute, let's talk about it. Yeah. I was kind of hoping, I figured that with the new damage model, the first thing I thought about, well, Michael will show us how that works, but you were able to take the car off clean.
I showed you in practice. You just missed it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The new Triumph model it's really slippery from the beginning, but I don't know why, but it seemed like in the start I had much more grip than the other guys, so I could push a bit more, and that's what I was just hoping to get my race going early, to try to build a gap and just try to stay in front.
Well, it's great. Even though you didn't get the win, didn't get a podium, you did have a nice finish in fourth position. It keeps you in the championship hunt. And honestly, I think you have the pace and the aggressiveness to maybe steal one here. With only four races to go, a mistake from anybody, and their championship is almost done.
Yeah, my aggressiveness, you're never going to be disappointed about that. You know that. Yeah, hopefully I can do the whole championship now that my racing for the year is over in the car. So I mean, I can focus on this now, hopefully, and at least try to take a top 3 in the championship would be my main goal.
Great. Look forward to that. Congratulations on the fourth place finish. We'll see you down the road in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Miguel Haflidason, your fourth place finisher today. That's going to do it for us here at the Global SimRacing Channel. Let's go ahead and talk about the people we have to thank. How about everybody at the Absolute Beginner League? We like to thank them for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software you see on the screen right now that we use to stream cyberspace into your place. The original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel is thanks to Jude Milan. See the screen to how to get a hold of her great work. Now, while Formula Neagle will be back in 2 weeks, that's going to be October 20th for round 2. That's from the roller coaster known as Road Atlanta. On screen now are some upcoming broadcasts. Check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, here's your options. GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We got 3 social media options for you as well. How about Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, Instagram at GSRC_gram, and Twitter at GSR Channel. And while you're here, if you haven't done so yet, become a GSRC YouTube subscriber by hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that'd be Adam, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was Greg Seitz winning the opening round here at Suzuka. With that said, we're off to have fun, storm at the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.